Okay. Now we're
Okay.
So here's your evaluation. It's
Mm,
broken down into several categories, and we'll go through each of these categories. But
okay.
auditory discrimination is just basically how well you understand spoken English.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at 87%, which is actually a lot better than you would think. And I'll explain why the score is the way it is.
Okay.
How accurately you pronounce the vowel sounds is 84%, which is really quite high for someone who's a non-native English speaker. So that's really good.
Okay.
Intonation, which is how well do you use stress and pitch and linking. That was the one that was the most challenging for you at 40%,
I admit. I
which
am.
is like the whole reason why you're
Uh-huh.
in this course. So that's okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um, Articulation variation, they sort of pulled out an element of intonation, which is how
Mm,
well do you link sounds together and add the final sounds to words
mm-hmm.
at 62%. And then they give you a total verbal performance, which pulls out auditory discrimination and does not count that. So that's 69% accuracy. If
Okay.
you throw back in auditory discrimination, you're at 73% accuracy, which is overall a pretty decent score, I should say. So
Okay.
they have this rating scale, and I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this rating scale.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 is a native speaker. So your auditory discrimination is at a 4. It's pretty good. Your
Mm-hmm.
vowels are great. They're like at a 4 minus. So
Okay.
that means hand in hand, your ability to hear the vowel sounds and then
Mm-hmm.
produce the vowel sounds is pretty
Mm-hmm.
strong. So that's a good strength for you.
Mm-hmm.
Intonation is down
Mm-hmm.
here, which
Mm-hmm.
is very typical
Severe
for
problem.
people. No, it's okay because this is like average type
Okay.
area for people from Korean, Japanese, Chinese languages.
Okay.
And then articulation variation is really just a part of intonation. So of course that's going to be in the same area too.
Okay.
But what does this all mean really? It means that for one thing, I take a look at how well you use grammar, your vocabulary, how well you're able to express yourself without stopping.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very big strength for you. So you're not hesitating, you're not groping for words, your words are accurate and correct. That's, in terms of helping your speech clarity, that's huge.
Okay.
So
Sounds really relaxed.
it's,
Sounds
it's
kind
good.
of
That's a good
yes.
thing. So as I said, your auditory discrimination, how well can you hear the differences between speech sounds and hear those intonation patterns? You only have minor trouble with this. And the reason why some of your points were taken off was you have difficulty discriminating between voiced and unvoiced sound pairs, which is like the difference between an S sound, which is S, and a Z sound. Z.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, an example would be the word his is spoken with a Z at the end, even though it's spelled with an S.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So his kind of a thing. And then you just had some very minor difficulty picking up on subtle stress differences within phrases. And that was from when I was doing that exercise. Well, I forget how the sentence goes, but like, I didn't say you stole the money, so to speak. I didn't say you stole the money when I just keep shifting the stress. So just picking up which word got the most stress. Overall, though, that was, I think you only missed one. And the only way that would trip you up, the only way that would trip you up would be sometimes in English we use word stress to change meaning in a phrase. This
Mm-hmm.
could cause you some confusion. You might not pick up on the subtlety of that message.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, I don't think that's a big problem for you.
Okay.
So if we look at the vowel sounds, um, your difficulty with vowel sounds was not necessarily with vowel accuracy, like how correctly were you making the vowel sound. It had mostly to do with vowel length, which is
Uh,
all a lot of what, especially what we're going to get into today, is about. And then some the R colored vowels, like the R sounds, which is hard for most non-native English speakers.
okay.
So here's where your vowels came out too short.
Mm-hmm.
So the ah sound in man came out as man. So I'll show you in a minute what that means on a vowel chart. So a to ah.
Okay.
This one is across the board. Anybody that's not a native English speaker has trouble, particularly with these next two. So your long E sounds got shortened to I. So instead of appreciate, which is a long E in pre, it becomes appreciate.
Appreciate.
Yeah, and it should be appreciate.
Appreciate.
Then the long oo sometimes is shortened to so noon becomes nun. Noon, too short. And then the reverse can happen. Hang on one second. There is no school today, and my son's on his way to a birthday party, so just want to tell him his ride is here.
Okay. No problem.
They're here. They're running late. They're supposed to be out the door before.
No problem. Take care of it.
Okay, so the opposite is true. Usually if you shorten vowels, then vowels will get too long in certain spots. This is the most common thing. So your lengthened vowels, the vowels that become too long is when you have a short and it gets changed to a, and that can be found in the word or the name Ben gets changed to Bane. So we go from a short to a long a, Ben, Bane. And then the reverse always happens with the I to E. I apologize. Ethan, please quietly close the door. Kitchen, which is I, it's changed to kitchen, which is very like kitchen, a little bit longer.
Kitchen.
Yeah, and it should be like it. Have a good time. And then the R, actually, I was really impressed with your R vowels because
always hard.
Yeah, the R's are hard, but they really test a ton of the R vowels, and oh my gosh, I was like a little bit excited as I was listening to you. I'm like, she's getting all the R vowels. There was just one, and that is hold on. I apologize. My son's got issues with something. What? Hold on, I'm sorry. He was supposed to be out the door. Hang on. Ethan, do you need something? What? What? Okay. I'm sorry. It's crazy when there's...
It's okay. Which school is he attending?
He goes to Green Hope High School.
Green Hope? Oh.
And they have a teacher work day. So
I know, it's teacher work day. My son is at home by himself.
Does he go to Green Hope too?
No, he's at middle school. He's going to college.
That's right.
He's a college student, yeah.
He's at East Carey, did you say?
Carnegie Middle School in Raleigh. Carnegie Magnet School. So
I knew that one. Yeah, it's I don't like having teacher work days on Thursdays.
Yeah, I know, it was weird.
And then some parent planned a birthday party. I'm like, who plans a birthday party? I can't do the birthday party. I work. But anyhow, so your R colored vowel, there's a ton of them. You nailed them all except for which is like the most like stereotypical So becomes thumb.
Okay.
Not a huge deal breaker in any means. And then the consonant sounds. So you have a tendency to unvoice the Z sounds, and we have a ton of Z sounds at the ends of our words, even though they look like S's. So for instance, has is a Z sound, and it was coming out as has, which is normal.
Okay.
Another normal one is changing TH to D. So instead of like the or then, it's da and den. Reduced T variation. So North American English, we have like 5 different ways we make T sounds in our words. And we get into that not right away because in general, it's not a huge issue, but as we get more skilled, I get into that. So you just don't make all the variations. You make them all crisp T's, like very which is still very clear. It's just not the flow that we use in one of our words. Okay. There was some difficulty with the ED endings. So like cashed should sound like a T, cashed, and it was cashed. And And then some difficulty if a vowel comes in front of an L. So this is what would be called like a syllabic L, which is a fancy way for saying, so instead of hearing the vowel sound, like in school, like the vowel sound stretches a little bit longer before we put the L in, yours comes out more like school.
Oh.
Like the vowel sound almost gets cut off.
School, yeah.
And it's school, like we just pucker our lips up, school. So in general, vowel length affects the rhythm and the intonation, and you'll understand that as we go. So intonation, that refers to syllable stress, word stress, pitch, and linking. And English, which is a stress-timed language, we have some stretched out long vowels in our stressed syllables, and then we shrink them up for our unstressed syllables. And so our vowel sounds and our consonants will completely change depending on where they are in a word. So this is sort of one of the things that's getting in there with your accent that you are probably not happy with. This is probably one of the elements. And then because English is stress timed and Korean is not, this means that you tend to use equal syllable stress and a less variation in your pitch. Whereas in English, we have big peaks, and then we speed up our words and we do more. We have a much wider bandwidth of that. So examples of some words that use equal syllable stress was basically, communication was communication, and different was different. And if you don't put a primary syllable stress, the sound markers are kind of off. And so your native English speaker in particular, they're listening for the stress. They're not listening for the individual sounds. And it can become fatiguing for them because they keep trying to catch peak and there's no peak. And so they can get which is what we're going to work on. And that goes into focus words. So this is module 4, but not only does each syllable have a primary stress, but then within a phrase, we make one word like really stand out. And a good example of this is, did you ever watch the sitcom Friends?
Yes.
Okay. You know the way Chandler speaks. He's like, could it be more, more of this? And I'm so not going to do that. He makes these focus words really stand out. So he's an extreme version. But that's what we do. We make one stand out.
Okay.
Not quite like Chandler, but close to it.
I mean, that would be great practice. I mean, I need to do that. Something like, intentionally put the stress in a one word or something area. So that's what I need.
Especially when you're presenting. And I have something to say to that. And since I have a tendency to lose my train of thought, I'm going to say it now. As you're going along in this program and you're learning a completely different rhythm, it's going to sound, I'm off because I can see that I'm talking and the video is like slower than me. But sorry. Anyhow, I won't look at it. As you're learning these English rhythms, you're going to start to sound, as I call it, you're going to sound like American Yanha. And you have to like lean into it because it's going to sound very different to you. And sometimes people they do fine until they notice that it sounds really different. And then you can see they kind of pull back and then they become shy to do it. Just go for it. It might sound like an exaggeration and like maybe you're overdoing it, but I will let you know if that's the case. It's not. So don't be afraid to do that for future reference.
Okay, I will keep in mind.
Yeah, you want to go for the American version of you. And then linking, which we're not getting into until level 2 because you have to understand these other concepts first. But you do some linking quite well, actually. And then linking is just when we connect one word to the other one, and it's all part of keeping the rhythm going. But you're not doing all the linking. And so it can sound a little choppy at times. And the example I have is in the phrase, is he, we change the S to a Z and we drop the H. So we'll say, is he?
Is he?
Is he coming? Is he there? Is he busy? So that's an example of linking. And so all of this put together, vowel accuracy, length, syllable stress, focus word stress, pitch variation. That's what we get into for this level 1 course. So
Okay.
it just means that you are the great candidate for this. And that the fact that you're so motivated to make change is what's, I think, going to be a good strength for you.
That's good.
I work with
I'm ready.
yeah. I work with some people and they're told they have to take this kind of training and they don't want to, and then they don't tend to make as much progress. So
I know that as a trainer and working as a training area, I know that depends on the student's attitude. The results are always different,
yes.
So it is kind of, I'm glad somebody leads me and help me so I can, because I've been trying to study by myself for years and years, but it was hard to, you have mind, but you don't know where you are exactly weak. And
Yeah.
so all those things makes me hard. I just do the general things, always start to, reading grammar book or some kind of a general conversation skills, all those things. So I don't know where was the weak points, those things. So it was hard to catch up by myself. So
Yeah, that feedback element is so important. It's because, as you said, you don't know where you're running off course unless someone tells you.
Yeah. The only thing was I tried to watch television shows or listen to news and try to read books. Those things kind of general stuff, but it didn't it helps me, but it didn't really focus my weak points. So it's kind of, I can improve my listening skill or hearing those things, but it is hard to speaking by myself,
Yeah.
express myself. Those are kind of a big challenge to me. So.
Well, it's so good that you like to do that sort of listening practice, because now that you're going to be learning what to listen for, you'll start to hear it in other people. And that's what's kind of fun.
Okay, I like to listen the NPR on the way to work and on the way to home. So it's very interesting. They always talk about the issues worldly or in in US, all those things. I like to listen. So it's gonna, hopefully it'll be helpful.
Well, that's good, because I recommend NPR for listening practice. And when it comes to focus word stress and even syllable word stress, I actually think, do you ever get a chance to listen to the BBC news when it's on NPR?
Yeah, sometimes it sounds different.
It sounds different, but here's the thing. So they follow the same rules we do for the most part. And when it changes, like their vowels are different, their T's are different. But for some of these underlying rules, it's the same, but they just do it a little bit more sometimes. And so BBC News, actually, when you want to listen for syllable stress and focus word stress where it's very easy to hear, they do it so much better. So for instance, like we'll say, as an American, we'll say, look it up on Google, and they'll be like, look it up on Google.
Yeah. I can tell that the British English is like sound at the beginning. It was clear to me. It's easier to listen, easier to understand. But the American English is more like soft, or the sound is more soft and gentle. But American English, the British English is like very strong and sounds like military.
Yes, very textbook.
Like that. Yeah.
Yes. So what I'm going to move on to, unless, do you have any questions about your report?
I see. It is kind of exciting to see my weak point and some kind of a general, something, but at least I can tell I have some room to grow, which is I really wants to, improve my weak areas. Hopefully I can kind of catch up those things up to 80% minimum.
Oh yeah. It just depends on how much listening and practice you put in, and with feedback, you'll get there.
Okay.
So one of the videos goes over this in a little more detail, but I'll kind of get into this. So what we're going to do today is, you know what I want to pull up? Let me Let me pull, hang on one second. So I do want to have you go back over these videos when you get a chance this week, but I'm going to pull up something here. Here we go. Okay. So what we're going to get into is, share my screen. Okay. So level 1, and really basically not just level 1, but really honestly, the secret to English rhythm and intonation can be found on this thing known as the pronunciation pyramid that was sort of conceived by this pronunciation guru. And it's so brilliant. So I say this is kind of how this whole course is structured. So in English, take for instance the bottom of the pyramid, we have a phrase, right? Let's practice speaking. So this phrase we'll say is one thought group. It's just a perfectly contained little phrase. Within every thought group, we will have one word that gets the most stress. And that's called your focus word. That's the word that stands out, will collapse the other ones and make the focus word very clear. So it's usually the last important content word in that phrase. So in this case, it's speaking. So if I say, let's practice speaking, you can hear speaking very clearly. Let's practice is kind of stuck together.
Let's practice speaking.
Yes, and speaking, the vowel gets stretched out.
Speaking.
So within the focus word, and really this applies to any word with 2 syllables or more, but particularly the focus word, you will have one syllable that gets the most stress, right? This is spee. And then the cornerstone of that stress syllable is the peak vowel sound, which gets heard the most, and that's the E vowel sound. So it becomes, let's practice speaking. So our English rhythm, just imagine several of these pyramids side by side with the paragraph. So it's just a matter, so what I refer to it as, there are large peaks and then valleys, peaks and valleys, almost like a circus tent. Bloop, bloop, bloop. That's the rhythm. That's why we are a stress time language, and we listen for peaks as native English speakers. We're not listening. We don't really care about the valleys. We'll summarize what you were saying, kind of, but the peaks have to be very clear. And we're trained that way, so that's what we do. So what we're going to be going over is each of these modules. We're going to be spending time today really understanding the importance of vowel lengths, and we'll touch on syllable stress, and then we're going to spend 2 modules giving you the rules behind English syllable stress so that you can generalize rather than try to learn the rules for every single word, which would never happen. We're going to generalize so you can estimate, and you can already know how to say certain words just by going, oh, that's a compound noun, so I know the stress goes here. Or this word ends in T-I-O-N, so I know this should be the stressed syllable. So those are what we're going to spend time on. It's spend 2 modules on that because it's really the crux. It's really a big deal. And
okay, I have a question.
Yes.
So is it okay asking?
Of course.
So my question is, do you think the performance or the result will be depends on my vocabulary, knowledge or praise knowledge? Because the reason I'm asking you is when I see the sentence or when I read the book, whatever, sometimes I see the word I don't know, sometimes there's a kind of vocabulary I don't know, and then so it makes me feel kind of unconfident because I don't know, I've never seen the word, so I can hardly pronounce it. But if I know the word, if I learn, then when I do vocabularies, I can kind of try to pronounce whatever I learned way. So I just wondering if it helps. I mean, it's going to be affect or
yes, no, not too much because there's some there's like a cheat sheet, right? So for instance, in English, most two-syllable words, 90% of the time, stress falls on the first syllable. So that helps you with two-syllable words. If it's a verb, we tend to stress the second syllable, which you'll learn. And then depending on what the suffix ending is, which several of our three-syllable words have different suffix endings, there's rules for that. So you can look at, even if I could make up nonsense words for you, as long as you know the rules, you would know how to technically say that nonsense. Now, English is riddled with exceptions, so they're more like guidelines, but it'll get you by 80% of the time. Okay. So that is the pronunciation pyramid, and in a nutshell. And what I want to move on to is the vowel chart, which I don't know if you've ever seen a vowel chart before.
Not this one.
You have this is in your resource files, and I didn't make up a vowel chart, but it is an amazing thing if you know how to use it. And I love this. And I have a video on this too, a whole video on this. So go back when you're like, what did she say? You can watch it. So basically what you're looking at here is how we make sounds in our mouth. So the green section, this would be like if this was a side profile of your face, basically. So the green section is the front of your mouth, like where your lips are. And the blue section is the back of your mouth, like where your throat is. And this is how we make our sounds. So, for instance, we call these green vowel sounds front vowels because we make them more in the front of our mouth. What you see here, these little individual letters, this is the International Phonetic Alphabet, also known as IPA. So that's based on how sounds sound, more than they're not just the way you would write it. You don't have to worry about that too much because basically the words in each box give you what the vowel sound should be. So for instance, the front high vowel is E that you would find in Queen Bee. So this tells you how to make sounds. This tells you what your jaw should be doing. So a high vowel means your jaw is closed. Like I can say E with my jaw closed. And down here, your jaw is open. Ah. Now, when I say the widest points, like if your jaw should be open, it doesn't mean like, because we don't talk like that. But I say a good rule of thumb, literally, would be like the width of your thumb. It's about, That's about how wide our jaw gets. So sounds that are up at the top means your jaw is closed. And then as you progressively move down, your jaw gets a little more open. Now, from front to back, this is what your lips should be doing. In the green section, your lips are pulled back in a smile. They're retracted like this. As you get in the purple section, they're neutral. They're just relaxed. And as you move to the back, they're rounded. Forward. So you can tell if you're making a sound and it's a little bit off, like a vowel sound that's off. For instance, the word was man, This is the word that goes along with fat cat.
Fat cat.
To make this sound, I can see my jaw has to be open. My lips have to be retracted because it's bottom front. Yeah. And then your tongue also is pushed forward. But not like Well, you can even like show your teeth. Perfect. So that's So man, fat. Like look at my mouth and I'm doing it. Man, fat, cat.
Man, fat, cat.
Perfect. It was perfect. It was. So when you're saying man, I can know instantly what you're doing. You're making an sound, which we find in odd fox. The only difference physically is what? We know our jaw's open, so you have jaw width correct. So the only difference is your lip movement. Here, you're making the sound where your lips are neutral.
Mm-hmm.
Retract your lips and you've got ah.
Is more like
Ah.
Ah.
So that's the difference. So for instance, same thing, we can move up high here. Queen bee is a high front vowel. It means my jaw's closed, E, and my lips are retracted in a smile. E,
B,
E.
E.
Now, I can keep my jaw closed, and all I'm going to do is round my lips. E. And you change the sound. So this is a physical map of how sounds are made in your mouth. So I'll go down the front here. We have E, which is considered a long vowel. E, because it takes longer to say. E. And then I is considered a short vowel. You find that in big, pig, kitchen. Basically, I is the same sound as E. It's just you take like the first half of E and you cut it off. So it. Yeah. I call these short vowels punch in the gut sounds because it literally sounds like you're just getting like, just like punched a little bit. Yeah. Then if your jaw's open part way and your lips are retracted, you get A. And you just retract your lips with a smile, you've got it. So the companion, once you get great snake, if you shorten that to the short vowel, you get eh, as in pet hen. Which is another punch in the gut sound, right? Because it's just like a it's a little Heimlich. And then if we go to the midsection, I didn't make this up, but I also don't agree with it, but they say R, which is, this was the sound that was the only R sound you had off. R. So this is, you close your jaw, and then make your like tension on your lips like this, Yeah, and then go dirty bird.
Dirty bird.
You got
dirty
it.
Bird.
Dirty bird.
Dirty bird.
So this one in the center is a very big section, and it's known as the schwa. You're going to hear about the schwa a lot. The schwa is the most common vowel sound in English. That's because every single one of these vowels will get changed to a schwa if it's in an unstressed syllable. So, is the most neutral sound. Yes, that is the literal punch in the gut sound. So that's your short ones. Then we have oo, as in rude baboon. Is a short version of oo. So if you take oo and then you cut it off, you get Yeah, like good bull.
Good bull.
Yeah, good bull. And then you have old goat, owl, as in loud owl. And look how rounded my lips are, loud owl. And then you have awful hawk, which is like an you've just rounded your lips. So if you go from ow, you have aw. So that just gives you an idea of how sounds are made. So if I'm telling you, I'm hearing, and it should really be A. You can be like, okay, is neutral, lips, neutral jaw. A, I have to retract my lips. A. So that just tells you how to make the sound difference. I actually love the vowel chart. I think it's clever. Down here we have things which are known as diphthongs. Diphthongs are two vowel sounds produced at the same time. You don't have problems with these. You're fine with these. But just so you're aware of them, like the sound I that you find in giant tiger is when you make an ah and an e at the same time. I. Yeah, it's two vowel sounds. So what you'll find older natives in Raleigh, they tend to drop the E on this. So instead of white light, you'll hear like white light. All they're doing is the ah. They're not doing I there. Okay, so this is the vowel chart. I'm going to leave this open for you because we're going to do some listening exercises.
Okay.
I'm going to read to you 3 words. The words will all share the same vowel sound. You have to decide what category on the vowel chart they fit in. Like, oh, that's a E, that's a queen bee sound, you know, or you hear oh, and you're like, oh, that's an old goat sound. Okay. Ready? All right. Day, paid, mail.
A sound like gray snake.
Yes.
Snake.
Very good. How about chat, half, laugh?
Fat cat. A.
Oh, you're good. You're the quickest person.
I
You're the
don't know.
quickest one. How about shift, trick, pin?
Short eye. Short eye.
Yes.
Like a pig. Big pig.
Big pig. Very good. How about up, fun, glove?
A fun glove. Like a lucky duck.
Oh,
I don't know.
good for you. I give you a gold star on that one. That normally trips people up. Good job. How about should, push, took?
Should push tuck. Should push tuck. Like good bird. Good
I'm
bird.
so impressed. Yeah,
I don't know. I just
that's
kind of
good.
trying to good guess.
That is good. That means you've got good ears. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. So now I
Mhm.
move on because you're doing so well. All right. So these are vowel sounds. Now you understand there's long vowels, there's short vowels. They make a difference. All our vowel sounds will change either to a schwa or to an I, as in big pig.
Mhm.
They'll all change to that if they're an unstressed syllable. It's what we do. So the thing is,
Mhm.
I need you to wrap your brain around this concept that's coming up. If we're thinking about this pronunciation pyramid and we're thinking about vowel length, let me pull it down here. So we're thinking about vowel length being
Mhm.
an issue. Even if you have the same vowel sound, for instance, say we have a long E, right? So the long E sound, it will always be considered a long vowel sound no matter what, okay? Sometimes it will be held even longer in certain words than others. So what I'm talking about is this. There are some vowel sounds that depend on the consonant that comes after it. Now here's where I know people's brain starts to like unravel because they're like, how am I supposed to keep that straight? Trust me, it'll make sense. So for instance, we have consonant pairs. Some are voiced and some are unvoiced. The examples of this are, and there's a video on this too in your pre-work stuff.
Okay.
For instance, T and D, the sounds T and D.
The.
They're made the exact same way. Only difference is your voice is on for D, 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 and off for T. Yes.
The. So I have a question. Voice is like it's the sound from my neck.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
without.
Your vocal cords are vibrating.
Mhm.
Another way you can do it too is you can plug your ears and do T and then D. So you can go T, D, D.
Yeah, I can feel my neck kind of,
Yes, that's your voice is turned on. Okay, so T and D. So we have a few pairs. We've got P and B, which is P and B.
But yeah.
Only difference. S and V, V, V.
But
S and Z, Z. Voice. We also have,
My general problem is differentiate between B and B as a victory, B boy as a victory, like that. And when I try to say spell out, sometimes I need to spell out. So when I say B, they got confused. Is it boy as a boy or B as a victory?
V, because V, that's so interesting.
Boy.
Spanish speakers have the same trouble. And I worked with a person who is Korean, but he was raised in Spain. So he was a Spanish speaker. And that's a similar problem. And V in English is made with your top teeth resting on your bottom lip. V.
V. V.
And you don't even have to go far. You can just touch the inside of your bottom lip.
V.
But you have to have a separation. Otherwise, it comes out as B. You have to have your lips separated.
B.
V.
B is B. B.
Ba is
B. B as a boy. Ba.
As in boy. And then V, look at my lips. V.
V. V.
Very
very
vicious.
Very
victory.
Victory.
Yes.
Very victory. Busy. Busy is B.
Busy is with a B.
Busy. Very busy.
Very busy. Yes.
Very busy.
Perfect.
I am very, very busy.
Yes. I'm going to make a note of that because that's something we'll work on. Give me 1 second. On my notepad and all my mess. Okay. So we've got these sounds. Some are voiced, some are not. K and G is another one. K, G.
Mm-hmm.
Same way. So if a vowel comes before an unvoiced consonant, we're going to not say that vowel quite as long, simply because we know I'm anticipating that my voice is going to get turned off for that T sound. So the whole word itself is going to sound a little shorter. If the voiced consonant there's a voiced consonant like D, 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 well, that vowel sound is going to sound longer because I know I'm going to keep my voice on. If a word ends in a vowel sound, it sounds the longest because there's no consonant to break it up. So I'm going to do something here because I always keep forgetting to change my example. And it drives me nuts that I don't remember that. Here. So I'm going to actually do this. So for instance, the word beat versus bead. Do you hear the difference in vowel length? Beat, bead.
Beat, bead.
Yes.
Beat,
versus bee, like a honeybee.
Bee.
That rolls on like thunder. The reason why this is important, if you're cutting your vowels off too short, you can lead people to think that you're saying a completely different word. Like beat versus bead are different things, right? Sometimes they'll catch it because of context, and they'll be like, clearly you meant bead. Sometimes
they got confused.
There's just enough. For instance, there was a great example. Another client of mine, he made up a sentence, and the sentence was, I took the bus. We had to take the bus, or we were running late, so we had to take the bus. We were running late, so we had to take the bus. The only difference was he changed it from bus, so it sounded like boss. So when he said, I was running late, we have to take the bus. Well, it was borderline. I was like, did he say boss? Did he say bus? What was interesting, because I'm an English speaker and I'm trying to make sense, I was like, it could either be I'm running late, so we had to take the bus, or my brain could change it to we're running late, so we had to text the boss. So wasn't really sure which one it said. So anyway, vowel length matters. Okay. So beat, bead, bee. All right.
Beat, bee.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this first row. I'm going to say these words, and I want you to tell me which word in the pair has the longer vowel sound, okay? Are you ready? The longer vowel sound is what we're listening for. Tap, tab.
Tab.
Yes, the second
tab, T-A-B.
Good. Bet, bed.
Bed.
Very nice. Buzz, bus.
Buzz.
Yes.
Zizi. Buzz.
Mm-hmm. Grief, grieve.
Grieve.
Good. Great, grade.
Grade.
Can you hear how that gets cut off? Or how one is stretched out?
Yes.
Okay. All right, excellent. So one thing I forgot to mention, there are 3 elements to English stress. So we're going to get into all this, and you're going to hear this so much, you're going to be sick of hearing me say it to you. There's 3 elements, and you have to have all 3 to be accurate. Mm-hmm. So the first one is stressed syllables will have a longer vowel sound. We stretch out that vowel sound. It's the P vowel. Number 1. We will make the stressed syllable a slightly higher pitch, different than so pitch is like, you imagine like a stair step, like 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 1, 2, so we'll go up in pitch on that stressed syllable, and we'll make it a slightly louder volume. Loud. Vowel length, pitch, and volume. The reason why Americans have this reputation for being loud is because of those 3, we like volume. We will kind of shout that word at you. British, they rely more on pitch. So they tend to go up more and they go down more, but they're very like close. But we'll go up more and we'll go down more. This is why we're known as being loud. Probably.
I mean, there's a funny story. My son was in Korea for the summer. So he can speak, I mean, he only speaks English. He can listen and understand the Korean, but he likes to speak as English. So he was at the subway with his friends. He stayed a month, I think, and then he took subway, and then he was kind of traveling. I mean, regularly, he traveled regularly every day. So he was sitting with his English friend, and he met the American friends over there, and then they talked English in subway, and then there's an old grandma was sitting next to them, and then he heard that the grandma said, "Hey boy, as a Korean, please speak kind of quietly. You are so loud." And he told me one funny embarrassing story. So he was apologizing to the lady, and then so Koreans speak like no stress, no pitches, all kind of words are same, and so we can communicate very quietly because we don't have like those. So most Koreans speaks very kind of same tone and same sound. So you have to understand the word,
Yes.
That makes you understand the meaning of the sentence. But the English has like that. So when you hear somebody else, it's like sometimes it's like fighting. And
I know.
That's funny. So.
Well, that's like Russian native. Like when you're speaking Russian, everything sounds like shouting in Russian. I have friends that's Russian. And when they talk amongst themselves, it just constantly sounds like they're fighting. And they're not fighting. That's just, yeah. That's, I have I'm working with someone from Nepal, and it's similar. They speak very quietly. And that's the hardest thing for him to fight is boosting.
Yeah, that's my hardest part too, because my personality is kind of quiet and introvert. So you speak out. English is like, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
here's what I say. Think of it like a music venue, okay? So like if you were going to go listen to a band, Korean is sort of like a small, intimate club where you're sitting up close to the band and you can catch like an acoustic set, right? Very subtle. Speaking English, American English, is like being in a large concert stadium where if you're on that stage, you've got to play to the crowd. You've got to have highs and lows. So you have to think of that.
Yes.
That mindset. But it'll, as I say, that's the American you. You gotta lean into that.
Kind of strange me.
Yeah, and you'll feel like you're being obnoxious, but you're not. You're not being obnoxious. I would tell you if you were being.
Okay.
Okay. What I'm going to have you do on this screen, there's 2 sentences.
Okay.
Pick one of the sentences to tell me, and I will respond with the appropriate answer based on what I heard. So either read this sentence or that sentence out loud.
Oh, so pick one sentence and read to you.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Did the bus stop?
It usually stops here every hour. Were you going for buzz or bus?
Bus. I tried to say bus.
B-U-S?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, well, then you did it right. Good. All right. Try number 2. Pick one.
Are you going to bed?
Say it one more time.
Okay. Are you going to bed?
I'm going to bet. I put down $5. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Good. And the last one.
That's a healthy jog.
Well, it's about a 5-mile run. Yeah, a jog, like you're jogging.
Yeah, jogging, jog.
Versus a jock, which, do you know what a jock is?
I don't know. What was jog?
A jock is an athlete, someone who really likes sports.
Ah.
So somebody on the football team in high school is called a jock. That's
Okay.
a sporty person.
Okay. That's a healthy jog.
Healthy
Jog.
jock. So jock versus jog
Mm-hmm.
are 2 totally different things based on how long you hold out that vowel sound.
And how about, are you going to bed? Bed. Make
Are
it
you going
longer.
to bed?
Are you going
I'm
to bed?
already falling asleep. Yeah, versus are you going to bet? Bet,
Bet.
bed. Bet,
Okay.
bed.
Okay.
So for your homework, there is plenty of practice with this with recordings, so you'll get plenty of chances. And also there's like a big, long worksheet and a long recording on E versus I. And the reason why I choose that is because that's the #1 vowel sound that people struggle with. And for instance, it can cause the most embarrassment. So, are you going to the beach versus are you going to the bitch, which is now just a bad word. Peanuts versus like peanuts, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
So we focus on that one just because it really drives the point home.
Okay.
All right, so now that you have this awareness of vowel length, I'm trying to like scooch us along, but I want to make sure you get, that's why I said this whole first session, I should probably break it into 2 sessions, but so if we look at the pronunciation pyramid, this is where I want to start you really thinking about listening for syllable stress, okay? Syllable stress is going to have that longer vowel sound. For you, if you're not as comfortable doing the volume difference, which you should still strive for, but if it feels like too much, then definitely you want to focus on vowel length and then the different pitch. I had a client who was a Spanish speaker and he would only do the volume. So it just sounded like he was shouting everything. I was like, no, you have to have all 3. All 3 is important. So what we're going to do is a little bit of listening. So these blocks represent a word can have 2 syllables, like apple. Apple's 2 syllables. It can have 3 syllables, 4 syllables. I just want to get you used to listening for syllables, period. That's just the basic place to start. So I'm going to read some words to you, and you just tell me how many syllables they have, okay?
Okay.
Address.
2.
Good. Customers.
3.
Perfect. How about reproduction?
4.
Perfect. All right. You've got a good ear for that.
I'm trying to.
That's good. That's good. No, honestly, some people really struggle even to hear the syllables. So that means that's a good thing. That means we can move on right ahead.
Okay.
All right. So here, there are, and we're not going to get into, there are actually 8 syllable stress patterns in English.
8.
8. There's no way I'm going to make you learn all 8 individual patterns because I had to learn it, you know, to teach this stuff. And even as a native English speaker, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, I can't even keep, like, I'm aware there's syllable stress and I can tell you which one is the stress syllable, but to like name all 8 syllable patterns is pointless.
I see.
I don't worry about what type of pattern it is. I just want you to hear syllable stress. So just know that the examples I'm giving you are just they're a small type of amount of patterns, but I'm not going to make you try to memorize all the patterns. That's counterintuitive. All right, so just listen. So for 2-syllable words, you either will have the stress on the first syllable, like meeting. Can you hear how I put all the energy in meet? Ding, and then ding is very short. Or you can have stress on the second syllable, like about. About is like a schwa, is very nothing, and it's all about. So I'm going to say these words, and you tell me, here, I'm going to do this. If it should be in box number 1 or box number 2. Okay, smallest.
Two.
Very good. Refuse.
2. I mean 1.
Refuse. Refuse. Yes. Notebook.
Notebooks like 1. I mean number 2 like
yes,
first.
Yes. Yeah. I know. I realize now I should have that. Like I totally get that now. Rehearse.
Hearse is like second syllable, so number 1.
Yes.
Rehearse.
Writer.
Writer. Meeting, like meeting. Number 2.
Very good. Beyond.
Beyond. Number 1.
Perfect. Second.
Meeting, like number 2.
I know. I totally see there my ways there. I'll swap that.
I mean, it's okay. It makes me think.
It's good. It's like one of those brain games.
Yeah.
Direct.
The number 1. Direct.
Balance.
Number 2. Balance. Balance.
Advice.
So number 1. Advice.
Program.
Like number 2.
And deny.
Number 1.
Oh, very good. Nice.
I'm trying to think. Kind of, you know.
So part of what your homework is going to be is an exercise like this, and it's just getting you, really what I want you to do is I want you to get tuned in to, now when you're listening to people, not only are you going to listen for the meaning, but I want you to listen to the style. I want you to listen for, syllable stress now. So I'm going to have you say number 1, the first sentence, and putting energy on, I'd make this my peak, on that syllable.
It's the smallest. It's the smallest. It's the smallest. Something like that.
You want to do, you've got the stretch, but it's also a vowel change a little bit. You're making an all, like, let me show you really quick.
That'll be the hardest part.
That's okay. You're making an all, like awful hawk. So but you want to go to ah. So it's the smallest. So just relax your lips.
Smallest.
Perfect.
The smallest.
It's the smallest.
It's the smallest.
See? Very nice. That was excellent. It's the smallest. You can hear how we kind of, I make this symbol, we kind of zoom really fast. It's the smallest.
The smallest.
Perfect. That was very clear. And then, so we said for this one, the stress is here. So our peak goes like this. You should refuse.
We should refuse. We should refuse.
No, it'll be you should.
You should. You should refuse.
Yes.
Should refuse.
And this ends in a Z. This is a Z sound.
You should refuse.
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 So just keep your voice on all the way through. You should refuse.
You should refuse.
Perfect. That was perfect. In the notebook.
In the notebook. In the notebook.
So Only thing I would say is an American O is less pure. You make a very lovely, pure O, as do a lot of other languages. And it's a nice, almost like a pure tone, right? It's like, oh, we make an O. It's more open, and so it's like a notebook.
Notebook.
Very good.
Notebook.
Yeah, in the notebook. Perfect. Time to rehearse.
Time to rehearse. Time to rehearse.
Excellent.
It's a S, right?
Yes, that's an S.
Rehearse. Mm-hmm.
He's a writer.
He's a writer.
Yeah, with it, because our T becomes a D.
He's a writer. He's a writer.
That was perfect.
Writer.
And it's from beyond.
It's from beyond.
Perfect.
Like it's from beyond.
Yes, it's from beyond, like a horror movie. It came from beyond.
Beyond.
We'll do a couple more. Give me a second.
Give me a second.
Perfect.
Is it give? It's like
Gimme.
give me a sec. Give me a second.
It is really like this. Let me write it down. I'm sure you've seen this in print before.
Give me a second. Give me a second.
As long as you just boost the energy on sec, you've got it.
Okay. Give me a second. Give me a second.
So here's the thing, and here's the thing. So really, honestly, when it comes down to syllable stress, which is pretty much like you can distill English rhythm down to syllable stress. Mm-hmm. Most people, when they were learning English, if it's not their native language, they have no trouble making very crisp, clear syllables because you were taught to say the word so perfectly. Mm-hmm. That's really not the trouble. The trouble is teaching people to make it not clear at all, like the rest of it. So you have to make the rest of it not clear so that one just stands out like the perfect example, and the rest are kind of shabby and not as clear.
That's hard for me.
And you're not alone. Like you're not alone. So I was direct. So direct.
I was direct.
Direct. It's really all direct. Yes.
Direct.
It was direct. Yeah.
It was direct.
We need balance.
We need balance.
Oh, that was nice.
We need balance.
We need balance.
We need balance.
Can you feel that? How you're kind of lifting it up and making it more forceful?
I would never think like that with people. So I try to it helps me to give the stress, which word I have to focus, and then think people.
Yeah. So if you want to make sure, because you're doing it great for you, I think for you in particular, you're going to want to make sure you're giving it the volume, because that's one thing you're going to maybe shy away from. Mm-hmm. So you can make the other parts of the sentence, we need quieter if you want, like the way you'd want to say it. We need balance.
We need balance.
That's exactly how we do it. That's perfect. High five. Nice. That was good. We need balance. See, it's like a shout almost.
Okay.
So what's your advice?
What's your advice?
And it's almost like this. It's really almost like advice. What's
advice?
Advice. As long as we hear voice, that's what we're listening for.
What's your advice?
Yeah, with
advice. Advice. What's your advice? Advice. What's your advice? And
you want to keep your voice. You want to keep your voice on Otherwise, it comes out as an F, and it'll be advice. And you want advice. So feel vibration on your teeth.
Advice.
In fact, just hold your let's make a V sound where you just hold it. And remember, you don't have to go. Some people will teach it, or they're like really on top of their teeth and their lip, and you don't have to do that because we don't do that. We just do right on the inside of your lip and just go. You feel that buzz? So advice.
advice, advice,
That's it.
advice, advice,
Yeah,
advice,
that is
advice. I think that's the hardest sentence.
yeah.
Advice.
For you and every Spanish speaker. This
B
is,
and B makes me hard together. Advice.
yeah. It's like a little puzzle you have. It's like a little obstacle course you've got to wind your way through. The new program.
New program. New
Yeah,
program.
new
The
program.
new program.
Sometimes you'll hear older people call it a program.
Program.
They'll really change that vowel sound. That's an example of how vowel sounds get changed. But
New program. The new
program, most people our age and younger say program, but the old timers will say program. I won't deny.
Deny. Deny. I won't deny.
Yeah, I won't. And that's you want a long O. I won't deny.
I won't deny.
Now, here's the thing. I'm hearing I want deny. So let's go back to the vowel chart. Vowel chart. Okay.
Yeah.
Vowel chart. I'm hearing want, which is
I
want, which is you're going to your jaws. You want to go up here to an O. I don't know why I did that. So you have to like close your jaw halfway and round your lips. I won't.
I won't.
Whoa.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa. I won't deny. I won't deny.
You're still coming out as want.
It's a hard kind of W-A-N-T and W.
You want to relax your lips for N. So you want to go want, but you've got to keep them rounded even when you make the N sound. Won't. Look how I'm rounded the whole time. Won't.
Won't. Won't.
Won't.
Won't.
That's it.
Won't. I won't deny.
Won't.
Won't. Won't.
You're moving your lips. You're moving your lips neutral because you actually physically can't get an O sound if you relax your lips. So I won't, and I'm rounded the whole time. I won't.
Won't.
You know what I'm gonna have you do?
I'm sorry, I can see myself. So
I know. That's what I'm gonna do here.
You want to see my?
All right. Can you see yourself now? Can you see me too? I wonder if you
Yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Well, I can't see me. Let me move myself around.
Oh.
Okay. Here we go. Won't.
Won't.
So your lips are trying to like open, like won't. You want won't.
Won't.
I won't deny.
I won't deny.
So you're gonna go I, which is retracted for I. Won't deny.
I won't deny.
Yeah, you'll have it nailed as long as you hold it. Won't. Whoa. Even make it tighter. Won't. So, I'm going to write these. I'm making a little list.
That's hard.
That's okay. So
I won't deny.
I won't. So really what you have to do is let's back into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just put your tongue up, like make an N sound. Go N.
And
hold your tongue there and go and hold the N. Now, as you're holding it there, you're going to round your lips. Won't.
Oh. Won't.
Yeah.
Won't.
We're going to keep working on that one.
Won't.
The only thing that's happening is won't.
I won't deny.
That's it.
Won't deny.
I won't. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing. I won't. Just say won't.
Won't.
Like say the word moan.
Moan.
Now just switch the W for the M.
One.
No, moan.
One.
There's a slight difference when you're doing that. Because I won't deny is literally, let me go back. Where was I?
won't deny.
I won't deny. So this is literally like this. It's I'll share my screen in a second.
Mm-hmm. I
Won't.
want like one. I won't deny one.
Here, let me share my screen again. Share screen. Right here. It's literally like I won't deny, just like moan.
Oh.
But you're just swapping out the W for the M. So I won't deny.
I won't deny.
Whoa. Rounder. I won't deny.
Won't deny. So the kind of the hard part is one is like O, right?
Yeah.
O, and then how about T?
We actually don't say the T on won't because it's going, this is an advanced concept, but we know that T and D are made in the exact same place. So we link.
Oh, okay.
So we just drop it because we're like, I'm already there. I won't deny.
Won't deny. I won't deny.
That's right.
I won't deny.
Whoa. You want a longer, you want a whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Close your jaw more. Whoa.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm. Close your jaw.
I won't deny. I
That's
won't deny.
Keep your jaw closed. Whoa. I won't deny.
Won't deny.
That's it.
I won't deny.
Whoa.
I won't deny.
Yep.
Won't.
If you keep your jaw closed,
mm-hmm.
won't.
Won't.
That's it.
Won't. I won't deny.
I won't deny. Don't stress about it too much right now because that just, I'm making note and we'll come back and we'll keep practicing. Okay. So for your homework, it's a lot of this stuff. Your homework is going to be several things. It's going to be, as I said, a vowel length practice. And then there's lots of I work. So basically, I'm going to be saying it, and I just kind of want you to repeat and making sure that you're really just being aware. If at all possible, what I really think is going to be the most helpful, and I tell people all the time, but they don't remember it, don't look at the words when you're practicing. Just like close your eyes and rely on listening, because English spelling will mess you up every time. It doesn't. We don't spell things the way we say things, and then you have an association with speaking and the word that you see written, and you have an ingrained habit. Like, I see that word, I say it this way. So I don't even want you to engage your visual cortex. I don't even want you to go that way. I just want you to like listen purely for the sounds and say it. Okay. So that's that. You're going to also have another extended version of the syllable stress. Like, which one is it? Is it the first? Is it the second? I also think I have 3 syllables and 4 syllables in there too. And then I have another assignment where basically this is just priming you for a couple different things. It's just a good listening exercise, but listen to the recording. It goes along with the worksheet, and it says, tell me about yourself. And I just want you to, there's be words in blue, and the words in blue, I just want you to tell me which syllable is stressed. Just underline the stressed syllable, that's all. Then there's a portion to that one where basically I want you to give your own response to tell me about yourself. The reason for this is it gives me really good insight to vocabulary you have to use every day on the job. So kind of fill it out. And then what you'll find is I write it down, and we keep coming back to this a lot. So kind of don't make it like crazy long, but don't make it too short either. Make it a nice, healthy sized paragraph.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
How is it?
Well, and this will show up on your, let me share my screen one more time.
Okay.
This will show up.
Where's did you post somewhere? No, board or?
It'll show up on your board. It'll say practice work. It'll be the next card. I just haven't loaded it yet. But see, if you go in here.
I haven't checked, that one.
Yeah, you have, here's the video, here's a link. And this is, watch these first. And then also this one says view all attachments, and there's a couple extras down here.
Okay.
My practice tips, I want to start actually kind of going over them in person, but basically try to practice 30 minutes a day, break it up into 10 minutes at a time, because we're adults and we can only focus, you know, our lives are busy, 10 minutes at a time. Try to do it the same time every day. Put sticky notes on your computer that's like, listen for syllable stress, or remember long E, or something like that, that kind of clicks you into it. The other thing, the people that make the most progress will record themselves, and you've got that recording app on your phone.
Oh.
And listen to yourself, and nobody likes the sound of their voice. Nobody likes how they sound. I don't like how I sound either.
I don't like.
No one does. But if you're in your own, but it is very effective, because once you listen to yourself enough times, you can start to monitor yourself in real time. You can be like, oh, nope, I didn't do that. It's very effective. So the more you're willing to record yourself, I'm also going to send you a blog post I did on installing Audacity software, which is free, but it's so effective, especially when you're like, am I saying this right? I can't tell if I'm saying it right or not, because Audacity will show you the sound waves. So you can pop in my recording that I send you. You can make your own recording right there in Audacity, and then you can compare the two. So you can be like, oh, I was way off. Or you can be like, oh, no, yeah, I'm doing it right. So I'll send that to you.
Okay.
All right. So that's all in your, I got to find my screen. Here we go. Okay, there we are. Do you have any questions? I told you this was going to be a long session.
I know it was long, but it's okay. And I just want to make sure I need to. So you didn't send me the homework yet, right?
No, I'm going to load it right now.
Okay. So once I think I want to review my evaluation report and resource files, and I need to watch some videos, and which is last week's, and then you're gonna add my homework, right?
Yes.
And then I need to practice this sheet, or just.
Yeah, well, you'll see there's recording. So listen to the recording, and the recordings go along with the worksheets. And then I tell you, I'm like, this recording goes along with this worksheet. And you just pull it up and listen. And I also will load up all the worksheets that we did in our session. Right now, I'll load those on there too. And then, let's see, probably by Monday of next week, you'll see card 2 will be filled out with the videos you need to watch. So just kind of look a couple days in advance, and you'll see your pre-work for our next session.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
And so for your midweek check-in, if you're interested and if you want to take advantage of it, I will write a note for you. Let me show you really quick. I apologize, because I do know I'm trying to get you on with your day here. If we go to, let me pull this up. If we go into, say you're in one of the cards, see down here, there's a comment section.
Yeah.
In your homework card, I will write down what you can send me for your midweek check-in. And I know exactly what it's going to be too. And just look for that. Look for that comment down there. And I might add a little something extra for you. I'm not sure yet. So sometimes it's hard to see because the comments aren't as obvious, but just look for that. And then just send your midweek check-in, in the middle of the week, because that lets me know, okay, you're on the right track, keep doing it. Or, oh gosh, you have a couple more days to practice, so do it this way, differently. So that's what that's
okay.
And let me stop my share. There we go. If you have any questions, let me know. And
sure. So do you prefer, I think I read you recommend the text is better?
The voice messaging
app? You say email is the easiest way?
Yes, if you're doing the midweek check-in, you can use that Telegram app that we connected on, where we send like just a quick voice message. Like I'll show you. Where are you?
Telegram, okay.
Yeah. So for instance, I'm going to send you one right now. There.
I got it.
Yeah. And that's just easiest for you. And you just read, if you just, and it's really not like all your homework. You don't have to send me all your homework, but like your 3 best examples and your 3 most challenging examples. And then I can say, oh, you're doing this really well, and you need to change this a little bit. So it's just a little like tester dip
Okay.
to see how it's doing.
Okay. Once you update it, I will check that.
Okay. It's coming soon.
Okay.
Any questions, just let me know. And really for this week, just be aware, I'm going to listen for vowel length. I'm going to listen for syllable stress. That's your new listening task.
Okay. So I'm kind of, my mouth is kind of stubborn. It's hard to change it. So that's going to be my challenging, but yeah.
Everybody's mouth is stubborn because think about it, right?
Yeah.
You have a muscle pattern that you're very comfortable with. And now I'm telling you to do it completely differently. It's just like I said, it's as if I just swapped like 6 keys on your keyboard. And now suddenly you have to like learn how to type again.
Yeah, it's hard, kind of, my son always kind of make a joke, because sometimes I say weirdly. He said, Mom, that does not sound like, I know that, but it's hard. Yeah.
Well, see, now you're going to learn how. But when you were doing it, and I'll send the recording of this too, when you were doing it, like, give me a second, or you should refuse. Oh, it sounded perfect. It sounded perfect.
If I say intentionally, I can kind of pretend, but when I say naturally between my sentence, it does not comes like that. So that's the problem.
But the more you practice and the more you're actively listening for it, and like I say, every time you speak is a chance to practice. So we're adults, we can't hold things in our minds for too long, but if you can, like, as you're speaking, say for 3 minutes, I'm going to try to be very aware of this. Even 3 minutes is hard for us to think of something that long, but just do that multiple times a day.
Okay, I'll try.
You can do it. Okay. I will see you next Thursday.
Okay, sounds good.
Have a good weekend. Thanks for your patience on this one.
Thank you. I loved and I enjoyed.
Oh, good. I'm glad. All right. I will see you soon. If you have questions, let me know.
Okay. Thank you.